Hi folks, I just wanted to address something I keep seeing on YouTube. This is about chickens, okay? If you don't have chickens, you know, this still might be something you might want to listen to, even if you may get them someday and just don't have them yet. This title is kind of rampant on YouTube at times. It's like the 3 worst chicken breeds and the 3 best chicken breeds. I submit that title is kind of meaningless, honestly. I'll tell you why. First, the best breeds for what? Egg laying? Showing? Representing the breed like they're supposed to be? Temperament? What's the best? The best and worst for what? Generally, people mean easiest to manage and lays the most eggs. That's not always, those two things are not always linked together. And best and worst. Now, I could probably do a worst hatchery breed, because, and I've done a video, my favorite homestead chicken, the Barred Plymouth Rock. Now, I didn't say the best, I said that my favorite. One reason they are my favorite is because egg for egg, they lay as well as any Rhode Island Red or the Australorp, the black Australorp that may still hold the record for the most eggs laid in a year. I don't know if they still hold that record. I've never owned one of those. Because I thought, black chickens are boring. No, actually not. They're very beautiful. I love my black Americana Gypsy, and I like Layla. I think she's gorgeous. But the best for egg laying, well, even that is not descriptive enough. The best egg laying among hatchery stock or breeder quality stock. And then if you're talking only breeder stock, then you have to go down to which breeder line of this particular breed is the best for laying. And what's best? Lays the most eggs, is the most consistent, that lays the longest into their life. You know, best in what way? So you can't really name the best chicken breeds and the worst chicken breeds. That's not enough information to go on. So really what they're saying most of the time is, these are the 3 I like best, and these are the 3 I like least. At least it doesn't mean it's the best or the worst. It's just what they like and what they don't like. Everybody is in love with my Sebastian, my big blue partridge Brahma rooster. He's the biggest rooster I've ever had. I had Suede, my blue Orpington, would kind of rival the size, but Suede was wider, whereas Bash was taller and heavy. But I love the breed. Are they the best for laying? Well, it kind of depends on how old they are and how broody the hen is. When they're broody, when they have the hormonal switch that clicks and says, I want to have eggs, I want to have chicks, she will start to set on eggs. She will start to incubate her eggs. And when they do that, they stop laying. When they go broody, they stop laying while they're hatching. The eggs takes approximately 3 weeks. And they don't lay for a good couple months, generally after they have the chicks and have rejected the chicks. So, you know, best for egg laying. I don't know if I would say they're the best for egg laying. They are good for egg laying. They're very equipped for winter temperatures because they have a smaller pea comb and they have feathered legs. So, and they're very fluffy. And so they really are well insulated, and they really do well in the cold. They don't do as well in the heat. But I know some people who have Brahmas in Florida. I can't imagine that, but they do. So, you know, the Brahmas, would I say they are the best homestead breed? Not the line I have, not the breeder line that I have, even though they're absolutely stunningly beautiful and they're very sweet birds. Bash is a big baby, you know that. They tend to get a lot of crop issues. They're big eaters. Not all my hatchery Brahmas were not big eaters. These breeder quality Brahmas from a breeder in New York, they are an import color. They were created overseas and they were imported to the United States. And this breeder then began work on them and improve what he had, what he'd gotten. And that's where Bash and his hens came from. But longevity? Well, Bash is turning 8 years old and so is Brandy, but he's already lost 3 hens. Actually 4, right? He's already lost, he had 6 plus Cora. I mean, no, he had 6 total. And now he has 2. Because I just lost Bonnie too. She had the wing ripped and then she never quite recovered, and all the stress of the injury and a heart condition, which some big birds tend to exhibit that kind of thing when they're very large birds. Mrs. Phoebe's having a fit trying to get to her nest, and her nest is right almost above my head over here, and she don't like me standing here. I'll be gone in a minute, Mrs. But I'm not going to breed any more Brahmas. Do you know why? It's not that they're not beautiful. It's not that they don't lay pretty well. They do, and their eggs are like super jumbo. But they go broody a lot, and this line tends to have a lot of crop issues. They tend to be, and I think a lot of it has to do with their piggy eaters. If you only have Brahmas, you wouldn't notice how piggy they are because they just eat. You know, you don't have anything to compare them to. I happen to have had a lot to compare them to. So I'm not going to be getting any more Brahmas. I'm letting them die out. I don't think Bash is even fertile anymore. And if he was, he can't breed the hens. He's very clumsy right now, just extremely clumsy. I think his legs are beginning to get stiff in his old age. He's very clumsy. I would say hatchery Brahmas are pretty good homestead breed. And you know, it depends on which hatchery, where they came from. There's too many variables in this to say the 3 best breeds and the 3 worst breeds. There's are. Best for friendliness. Well, pretty much a Bantam Cochin is extremely sweet and loving. My roosters are. Now, there can be mean ones because hatchery stock is extremely variable in temperament. So best for being the friendliness? Well, a Barred Plymouth Rock's breed trait is supposed to be friendliness. A Delaware's breed trait is supposed to be friendliness. But if you get a Delaware from a hatchery, you can get a whole other kind of bird. So, but the line that I had, a breeder line, they laid earlier than any of my other large fowl breeds, any of them that were purebred, any of them. I think the earliest ever laid at 17 weeks, and the latest was like 22 weeks. I mean, they're very early layers, and they lay big, giant, peachy tan eggs. They're beautiful eggs, and they're great birds. They're not that heat tolerant. They are absolutely not that heat tolerant because they were the original meat bird. They were bred to be meat birds before the Cornish cross, and after the Cornish cross was introduced, the Delawares almost became extinct. And then in bringing them back, they made all kinds of mistakes and screwed up and produced bad-tempered ones, or ones with yellow, greenish-looking legs instead of the bright yellow. I mean, they just made a lot of mistakes. So really, you can't really answer that question. I would say, first of all, is it hatchery stock or is it a good quality breeder stock? That's the first thing I'd answer. And then you ask the breeder, what is your line known for? If he says conformation and winning at shows, and you want egg production, well, you know, they still will produce a fair amount of eggs, but they may not produce like something which bred just to be an egg laying machine. So I hope this all makes sense. My favorite homestead, all-around homestead breed of the Barred Plymouth Rock. I've had hatchery birds. I've bred from the hatchery birds. I have had 2 different lines. One was from Marvin Stukel, S-T-U-K-E-L, I may be pronouncing his name wrong, in Arizona, who sold a rooster to someone I know from BYC in South Georgia. And he got the rooster, and he did put him through all kinds of testing because he was an NPIP tester for the state. And then he said, I'm ready to send you your eggs. And that's where I got my original Marvin Stukel line, Barred Plymouth Rocks, which I feel are the best in the country. And then I got someone else gifted me hatching eggs unexpectedly out of the blue. Thank you, Mary. And that's where my Hector came from, and his girl, Jill. It used to be Jill and Mary and Thea. And, what was it, Jill, Mary, Thea, and, gosh, I forgot. Jill, Mary, Thea, Jill, Mary, Thea, and, God, I don't know, was there a fourth one? I can't even remember now. But Hector died a couple of years ago, and all that's left that was in his group are the two Marvin Stukel descended hens who are almost 9, and well, you know all the pedigrees of these birds. I've mentioned that repeatedly. I just wanted to mention that these birds are very good layers, but very good. Did they lay every single day when they were in their prime? Pretty much, but not every day. But they were still laying at an advanced age. Hatchery stock, you won't often find that, although I had a descended from hatchery birds, Barred Plymouth Rock, who lived to be 13, and she laid eggs every year until her last year of life. Maybe just a few a year, maybe just a couple, but she laid every single year. So I would say that's pretty good. Was she great for conformation and perfection of a breed, and all the proper way they're supposed to look, and how long the neck's supposed to be, and how the leg color? Was she perfect in that? No, of course she wasn't. But I'm not showing birds. I don't take my birds to shows and risk disease coming home with me. So anyway, there's just too many variables to answer that question. I can tell you my favorites. I can tell you the ones that were terrible layers. The worst layers I ever had were the Belgian Danver Bantams. Well, they're all Belgian Danvers are Bantams. There's no large fowl counterpart to the Belgian Danver. They're the worst layers, absolutely the worst. I mean, I was lucky if I got 2 years out of them. And then they just kept living, some of them. So, I can tell you that. But were the conformation-wise, they were beautiful birds. They were from a breeder in South Georgia who created new colors, new varieties all the time, and he was good at it. He had to go out of business. But, as far as the way they looked, they were beautiful. As far as the way they lay, no. So it depends on what they're the best for. Were they friendly? The hens were friendly. The males were crotchety. I'll just put it that way. So anyhow, I hope that clears that up. Now I wanted to briefly address, I put in the community section about this dog that keeps coming back to my property. And I want to address a couple of comments. A couple of different people said it has a collar on. Because I got a picture of it as it was leaving my property, and I told it to get on home for evidence in case. That dog has been here twice that I saw with my own eyes, and a third time when he was caught on he or she, I'm really not 100% sure on that, was caught on game camera right outside the fence where my chickens hang around. And so it's 3 times. It's in very good condition. It looks well fed. The coat looks good. It is definitely not a stray, and yeah, it had a collar. So, okay, so it has a collar. So what? That makes it even worse. That means it's not a stray just lost and looking for something. It's not a stray trying to find food. This is a well-fed dog who is allowed to roam against the county ordinances and our state laws. And yes, I will. I will be very sad if I have to take that dog out of existence. I will be very sad because it's a very handsome dog, and it may be a very nice dog on its owner's property. On my property, it's a predator. So that's one thing. And then people kept saying, ask your neighbors. I don't even know who my neighbors are anymore. Most of the people in here have died or moved away that I knew when I got here. I do not know who owns any houses down the street. I don't have their phone numbers. I'm not going to go door to door saying, sir, is this your dog? I'm trying to help you get him home. That's not my responsibility. That is the owner's responsibility to care about where the dog is. Obviously, they don't. And then the other comment was, well, you left your gate open. That puts the blame on me for some dog coming into my fenced perimeter because I had to leave a gate open for some reason. I can get a gate closer. Maybe I can get an automatic gate closer. They're about $500. But I don't have any solar for really up there. There's all kinds of trees. I can't even clear enough trees to get enough sun to power a solar gate. I could try. But that doesn't change the fact that when I'm expecting a delivery from FedEx or UPS, I have to leave my gate open because I don't know when they're coming. I have no idea when they're going to show up. You know, they can show up anywhere from noon to 9 o'clock at night. I have to leave my gate open for that. I can't, automatic closure means nothing in that situation. It is not my fault that the dog was on my property. It is not my fault that I am having to be on alert to protect my chickens and my blind cat. That cat was amazing when he alerted us. From inside, from a sound sleep on my husband's chest, he alerted me. He alerted my husband. He said, "What's going on?" Because the cat he was almost asleep, and he jumped up and looked toward the door, and then he jumped down, and when he jumped down, I heard him growl. I thought, what's going on? What's got him spooked? I looked at the security cameras. I could see nothing down my driveway, nothing on my deck, nothing. And so I had to go outside, and when I went outside, there goes the dog again. Thankfully, my chickens were in the barn at that time. That's a big dog. And of course I was, excuse me, sorry, the pollen is insane. I mean, choking out here. I was kind of criticized by someone. I don't know what she intended to say, but the comment was, "You took a bat after a new dog? That seems extreme." The first time I came out my door, that dog and another one, as big as it is, were standing at the bottom of my steps. I had to quick think, where's my cat? I didn't know if my cat was outside. My chickens were outside in their pen. So I grabbed the first thing at my disposal, which was right behind me, a Louisville Slugger Little League bat, which I keep outside for quick emergencies. And in an effort to discourage it and to protect myself, if you go to grab a dog's collar that's not your dog and it's on your property and you grab at it, if you get bit, that's your fault. I was not going to risk getting bit. So I took a bat with me for my protection and to kind of discourage them. And I chased them around, I terrorized them a little bit and made them leave my property. And then shut the gate, because my husband had left. Once again, he left. He has extreme pain in his back, and sometimes he doesn't haul himself out of the car to close the gate when he leaves or to close the gate when he comes back. It's 200 feet for me to walk to close the gate. Okay, but still, I have to have open for deliveries. Okay, I think that day also there was a delivery coming. I couldn't close the gate. It's not my fault that a dog is trespassing on my property. I don't know why people want to make it your fault if the dog comes to your property. I shouldn't have to do that. That is not my responsibility. The dog should not have been here in the first place, and I don't care why it's here. All I care is that it has been here multiple times, and the owner, I swear to God, you know, often they say on Backyard Chickens, gosh, if I could have shot the owner, that would have been preferable because it's the owner's fault, but I can't get rid of the owner, so I have to get rid of the dog. I understand that entirely. I would please suggest you watch my video, Roaming Domestic Dogs, and you will hear stories that will curl your hair sometimes. I'll always remember a 12-year-old boy who was a member of the forum he came to report that he came home and a German Shepherd he didn't know was inside his chicken pen, ripping his chickens to shreds. He had to pick up the dead bodies. Those were his pets. He was traumatized. And then they had to dispatch the dog. It pulled its way into the pen. That's why I said never use chicken wire for your chickens. Chicken wire doesn't keep anything out, especially a dog who's determined to get to the meat inside. So anyway, I don't care if my gate was open. Dog is not supposed to be on my property. I don't care if it had a collar. That's even worse. That means that's a really irresponsible owner. I mean, multiple times out, it's irresponsible. I don't have to do that. It's not my responsibility to hunt down the owner. It's the owner's responsibility to keep track of the dog. I got enough in my life to keep track of. I don't need to be trying to make other people do the right thing, because they rarely do. If they're that lax about the control of their animals, then I'm not going to be able to make them into better people. I was not going to. So I just wanted to address those comments Because I don't care that it had a collar. I'm not going to ask my neighbors. I don't know who my neighbors are. I'm not going door to door to people I don't know to say, oh, sir, is this your dog? Oh, it was in here trying to kill my chickens. Or it was, it's not my responsibility. Absolutely not. I'm not taking it on either. You can't keep track of your dog. Your dog may not come home. That's it. Plain and simple. And since I've had chickens that have lived longer than I'm sure that dog's been alive, I have some now, they're probably older than that dog is now, they don't deserve to be torn apart by some trespassing animal when they've been safe their entire lives. And I will do everything I can to prevent that, whatever it takes. If you don't like it, if this is not the channel, then this is not the channel for you. It's just not. Your dog needs to be in control of your control at all times. You don't let it out to go to the bathroom even. If you've got a little chihuahua and you know it stays in your yard, fine. But you know what? That's dangerous too because it's coyote bait. And they're raising kits now, or about to be raising kits. The foxes already are. So that's all. I don't want to rant no more about that. I have at least 5 videos on this channel over the years about roaming domestic dogs and the problems I've had with them. And I now have a 0 tolerance policy. I'm not. Now, one time a little beagle got into my livestock fence and it was small enough to crawl through the 4-inch openings in the bottom of the livestock openings are different. They vary. And some are 4 inches and some go down to 2 inches wide. This puppy was small enough to get in. It was a little beagle puppy. It wasn't doing anything. It was just running around going, where am I? And so we took it, gave it to animal control. We do have animal control. When we call them, they come out. They're not policing everything. They're not going around street to street to find stray dogs. They don't know because everybody lets their dog run, seems like. Just because it's the country doesn't mean you're allowed to let your dog run everywhere you go. Everywhere it goes. Anywhere it wants to go, no. It might pick up some poison that way. I don't poison animals. I won't poison a dog. I won't put out poison for innocent animals that might pick it up, including my own. I won't put that out. But some people do. And if you care about your dog, well, your dog is in danger if you don't know where it is. So that's it. So yeah, every time you see the favorite 3 breeds and favorite for what? The best, not the favorite, but the best. They say the 3 best and 3 worst. And I submit that's a title you cannot live up to in your video. So, because you got to make so many distinctions that it's kind of a meaningless title. Anyway, catch y'all later. Have a good one.